Hello, welcome everyone to another edition of Talas Sacrifices Games to the ADHD um, Goblin to see what sticks. Today, I'm going to be playing one of my favorite games. I absolutely love Keyframes. I really very seriously do. It's one of my favorite games ever. Um, Along with like Our Lives. Uh, I actually backed the backed the second game that's gonna be coming out in a little bit. Um, I'm actually in like I've been like a big part of like the whole process of this thing. I beta tested it back when that was available. Back when the demo was being beta tested and all of these things. Uh, so yeah, I absolutely love this game. The first time I played it, it was like I said back before the extended version of the demo dropped, and I played it. Long story short, I sort of played it so long, so much, and for so long, like for such long hours is the term that I was looking for. For such long hours that I ended up burning myself a little bit. Like burning myself out a little bit with the game. And I haven't touched it since. But I've been wanting to redo it again because I wanna number one keep the events of this game fresh. And also I don't know, just revisit my silly little boys and their silly little things. Okay, so um I already went in and fiddled with some of the options. I changed the hold. I'm waiting for the music to start again to see. Yeah, that somehow became too low. I'm not sure how, but that somehow became way too low. Okay, I think that's good. It's always me fiddling with volume and things. So anyway, I already went in and fiddled with a few things. I'm not sure how this is gonna translate into the SFX volume or how loud the voices are gonna be. We I can always come in and change them again when the time comes. I also put my text in large because I if I haven't said it yet, or if you don't know it yet, I have dyslexia and I have bad eyesight in general. Um, so I always, if I can make text bigger whenever possible, I always do so. And this game also has the lovely option to add like an outline to the text, which is always a very good, always a very nice thing to have available. Um, 1 second, I'm gonna start my timer because I tend to lose track how long's it been. Okay, so that done, that said, we are. I wonder, is there any of my saves? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. I was like, are any of my saves here? But no, I didn't think so. Didn't think there were any. Anyways, I'm gonna start from the start. I'm. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm nearly sure I'm gonna get Fall because that's the personality that I always tend to get. But we'll see. Time to take a quiz, a personality quiz. And no, you're not allowed to skip this. We're going to give you a series of statements for you to answer truthfully. Or not. We're not the boss of you. So let's start. First question. You're fighting with a friend, but it's gone on long enough. What do you do? I. Honestly, at some other point in my life, I would have apologized first, even if I didn't think I was in the wrong, just to like move on with the conversation and prompt the other person into, because not a lot of people want to apologize when they don't think when they think that you've done something wrong, right? So like the way to think about it is, if they're not apologizing, why should I apologize? So I would have apologized for maybe not the thing that I did, but I would have worded it like, I apologized if I made you feel uncomfortable, which is a good thing to apologize about, because I am never out to make anybody uncomfortable, and that is a thing that I'd be sorry about. I wouldn't necessarily be sorry that I did the thing or whatever it was, but I would be sorry that it made them feel bad, mainly. Nothing more confrontation is too much. Extend an invitation, but don't acknowledge the argument. Wait until they apologize. You are right. Honestly, none of these options are quite right. Let's go with apologize first, because I'm the way I'm picturing it is like doing that thing where you're like, well, I'm sorry it made you feel bad. That was not my intention, you know? Um, Extend the invitation, but don't acknowledge the argument. Not acknowledging the argument is always a bad idea, bro. I'm just saying. That's how that's never gonna be. It's never gonna be a good thing to do. Okay. You're planning a vacation with your friends. What's the itinerary? Anything weird that's in visiting distance is first on the list. The point of vacations is to relax. You'll be enjoying the more scenic things. Every museum and landmark in sight, there is a lot of history and culture to learn. Non-stop adventures and new things that we've never done before. I would do the hey, but vacations are to relax. I've been on vacations before, and I've been on vacations with people that have like a whole schedule planned for the whole damn day. And it's honestly like, man, am I here to get more tired, or am I here to rest? Like, what's the deal here? So I don't really like when we're going on vacations and people are like, and people have like this whole, I don't know, list of 20 things that you need to do, and you need to get to this place within this specific time, and we need to board a train, and we need to board the bus at a specific time, because then we're gonna be late. No, man, no. I don't do this like within my regular day to day. I'm not doing this when I'm on vacation, honestly. Like, yes, I do agree that we need to make the most of vacations, but I don't want to be rushing from place to place on a time when I'm supposed to be resting. No, that's not me. That's not my jam. Your favorite plush toy fell off the bed while you were sleeping. How do you react? Wait, I never had a plushie in my bed. You apologize and promise to never let that happen again. You pick them up and tuck them snugly back into bed. C'est la vie. You'll remember to pick them up later, hopefully. I would pick them up and tuck them back into bed. Your friends spring sun plans on you. What do you do? Decline nicely. Your evening is already booked. You're only young ones. You can do whatever you were doing later. You hit them up with a Unireverse card and invite them to join you for the night. I would invite them to join me for the night, honestly. Like, if I already had something that I was gonna be doing, big chances are I wouldn't want to stop right in the middle of what I'm doing. So I would probably like invite them into to do whatever I was doing. Wait, I did. There's no rollback. I keep forgetting that there is no rollback in this game. Well, I think I picked the last one. I think. Do you have to read the directions first or guess as you go? My heart will guide my hands. I don't need directions. No, yeah, definitely. Yes, of course I do. That's what directions are for. Yes, I agree. Directions are for that. There's a fork on this hiking trail in front of you. Which way do you take? The more forested, the less traveled one. It must be more interesting. The open, well-traveled path. It's probably taken a lot for a good reason. a hike, you wouldn't catch me out there if my life depended on it. Honestly, the open world travel path. I am not the type of bitch that's gonna be fucking around with forested paths. When you make plans with people, what do you prefer? Familiarity. You like knowing what you're getting into. Spontaneity. What makes for a better life story? A little bit of both, honestly. Like a little bit of both. Oh man, your lunch order is wrong. What do you do? Did I maybe order the wrong thing by accident? Ask them to remake them if they can. Eat it anyway. You don't want to be a bother. Eat it anyway. Food is fuel. In another day, in another point of my life, I would have probably been like, oh, eat it anyway. I don't want to be a bother. But like, hello, I paid for this, and I paid to eat the one thing that I do want to eat, and like I have food sensory things, like issues things. So the thing that I ordered is probably the one thing on the menu that I can't have. I am not going to be eating something that I don't like or something that I literally cannot eat. Just do not be a bother because my body and my mind is not going to like that. So ask them to remake it if they can. Yay, you got invited to the party. Problem is, you don't really know anyone there. Two is better than one. I'll ask a friend to come with me. I'll go for a little bit to be polite, then leave. I'll go by myself. I can meet people when I'm there. A party? How convenient. I've suddenly come down with a cold. So, I'm one of the two. I'm one of two here. I'm gonna be honest with everybody. Parties are not my thing. So, I would be the type that's like, oh no, actually, I've got this essay. I'm not even in university, but I've got this last minute essay that I need to work on. So sorry. No, like I would say honestly, like, hey, no, actually, I really parties are not my thing. I really don't feel like going. So sorry. Thank you for the invitation. Um, so I'm the type of people that I'm the type of person that would be like, thank you, but no thanks. Um, and I'm also the type of person that would be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna invite someone to go with me. Calculating results. I am fall. I was worried that like maybe my personality has changed enough since the last time that I played this that I wouldn't fall. I wouldn't be fall under fall. I wouldn't be fall, but here we are. I am fall. These personalities are often characterized as empathetic and gentle, often thinking of life from the perspective of others. Wait 1 second. I think. Oh yeah, that's why. I was like, something's wrong with my headphones, and I don't know what it is. And it was because I had the aware mode on. Okay, so that's why. Okay. Um, Empathetic, gentle, and often thinking of life from the perspective of others. Falls might be the last person to speak, but it's only because they want to make sure that everyone said their piece. But for all their understanding, it sometimes come at the loss of their own wants. That is true. As a fall type, some of your actions and responses are already predetermined, but don't worry. You will still be able to influence your character throughout the game based on the choices you make. Now, let's double check some info. So, I would usually do like Ollie, but I actually have a fall and original character that I made the first time that I played this. It's Robin Campbell. Or should I do Ollie? Should I do myself? Because I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I don't remember the personality of Robin. Let's just do Ollie. And for last name, let's keep Campbell. This will be Robin's long lost brother, Ollie. Choose my pronouns. My pronouns will be he, him, and they, them. How often do you want to randomize your pronouns? Every line, every new scene? Line. I haven't tried this too much. I'm gonna be honest. I think the last time when I was playing this, when I was playing around with this feature, I went like in and checked like the very start that it did change as often as it should. And when it did, I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. And I just didn't like, I didn't do like a full playthrough with this. Let's do like he, him, they, them, and every line. Wonder what's every new scene? Is that like every new event? Or is that like every time the background changes? Wonder what constitutes as a new scene for the game. At some points of this game, members of the cast may behave differently depending on factors relating to your orientation and presentation. Please select all that applies in respect to how do you prefer your character to be perceived. I prefer my character not to be perceived. um I know it's like perceived based on either options, but it's still very funny to me. I prefer my character not to be perceived. Do not see me. Do not perceive me. Thank you. um. Let's go. Let's go with masculine. Okay. Choose a font for my MC. I didn't choose any of the cursive ones because the cursives are hateful on my dyslexia. Like, they're so pretty, but at the same time it's like, man, no, please don't. Please do not. I think I'm gonna go with this one. During some action-packed occasions, Keyframes implements quick time events to help direct the narrative. Test each mode and choose what is comfortable for you. Use the arrows to change how many keys to test. You can change this at any point during your playthrough in the settings. Let's do one with 4 keys at default. See what that's like. Okay. Okay, but give me like, okay. Yeah, that's not that bad. Let's do like, I think the max I've seen, yeah, it was like, I think the max they've got is like 5 or 6. Okay. The default is slower than it used to be. I don't know if I should have said that, but yeah. It used to be a lot quicker. I'm gonna leave default. Or should I just go with slow? Anyway, it's not going to affect anything much. Like, it'll just make like it'll just give me extra time because I'm not going to be able to change that in the future. Let's just go with slow. It's alright. Are you done customizing? Yes. I have a processing thing, so that's why I went with slow. Your phone rested you from your dream, and you woke to the scratch of your sheets and the whir of the AC unit. Sighing, you stuck your arm out and patted gently around the blankets. Your phone was cold to the touch, and you yanked it quickly under the covers before swiping to answer the call. Just whined a little.
Rise and grind.
No, 5 more minutes, Cam.
So cute. Deja, help. I don't think I have the heart to do this.
Just get on with it already.
Okay, fine. Can you pretty please get up and look at the time?
You open your bleary eyes in the wash of warm light filtering through the curtains. You recognize the late morning hour stretching across the floor. It had to be well into the day now, and you squinted at the phone for your phone for confirmation. 12 noon. It's noon.
Exactly.
what does this mean for me?
That you should probably get up.
Do I have to? That sigh is so deeply felt. It's just like
Well, I tried.
I tried.
Dude, you're too nice. Let me. Hey, you gotta wake up. You'd better not have forgotten.
Forgotten what?
Today's Raina's barbecue party, remember? Cam and I finished buying the snacks and stuff. We're also like 15 minutes from campus. So, if you still want to ride, you should get up. Like, right now.
Oh. Oh no! I overslept! I'm so sorry!
And there's the reaction we're looking for.
Thank God. It finally sunk in.
Real sorry, guys. I'll be as quick as I can.
Hey, it's okay. You've got time. We'll be waiting for you in the parking lot, yeah?
We love you. We'll see you soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I love the kisses. The call dropped and you sprang into action, sprinting across the sun-warmed floor to get ready. Spring semester. Second year. There. Do I need to click it? Oh, I didn't need to click it. You stepped out of your apartment building, bracing for a blast of heat. As the semester was drawing towards its close, temperatures had risen. Risen? I think it's risen. In a way that left you lingering in the chilled indoors. But thankfully, today was the perfect spring day. One of the last ones you'd get before summer crept in. Whoa. That did something odd right there. There was just one thing in your way. Or well, many things. Many people. At this time of day, Rin Mayer University was as lively as ever. Students moved in and out of lecture halls, and they were clustered everywhere with their eyes on their books, their friends, or their phones. If you hadn't been so hell-bent on finishing your assignments for the week last night, you wouldn't have been awake in time for a peaceful. You would have been awake in time for a peaceful morning, and you'd be able to simply walk alongside the crowds, calm as anything. However, you wanted to be prepared, and that meant keeping up with whatever your professors gave you. You'd needed to get everything done just so you could go a few days without thinking about schoolwork. All your work from the last 2 weeks had piled up right till the last minute. I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I have ADHD and I am the procrastinating bitch. Like, it's me. I am the absolute, like, the professional procrastinator. This is probably what it says on my profile if you looked it up. I'm gonna choose the last two the last 2 weeks had piled up. You know what? Do I want to be that? Do I want to be that faithful to my personality? I think I'm gonna go with the middle one. No, yeah, let's go with procrastination. Sorry. You played it fast and loose with rolling deadlines, but alas, the semester was steadily drawing to a close. The finals around the corner. You had to haul ass to get your assignments in. And thus, here you were. Hi, sorry about this, but can I just squeeze by you? Thanks! You did your best navigating the crowd, dashing in between gaps the moment you saw them. By the time anyone realized they were in the way, you'd already rerouted, darting around them instead of barging through. Luckily, you still made good time. You still made good time, and it didn't take long before the parking lot at the other end of the green came into view. Beckoned by the near end, you picked up your pace and zipped down the road. Almost there.
Shit! Watch out!
Huh? You froze in place, and as you raised your arms instinctively, a playing bird darted right past you. Whoever it was, they promptly crashed into one of the lower walls, bordering the path. Oh, one of these walls. Can I hide that you at? Yeah, one of these walls probably. Uh, Bordering the path, flipping ass over electric scooter into the hedges. All around you, students hissed in sympathy while your blood ran cold. So much for not getting in the way. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? There was a rustle, and the student who had swerved to avoid you emerged from the hedges with leaves in their hair. They lurched unsteadily, groaning as they clutched their head. You extended a hand, and they stopped moaning long enough to thread their fingers through yours. With your help, they climbed back over the railing, but they couldn't stand without swaying like a newborn foal. Foal? Yeah, I think it's foal. Like coal, but foal, right? Hey, you with me? How are you feeling?
Honestly, my head really hurts. I think it's bleeding.
What?
Yeah, like right here.
Alarmed, you reached up without a thought, running your fingers into the raven locks. I don't feel anything wrong.
You sure? I think it's behind my ear. Here.
I don't buy a single thing you're saying, pretty boy. Catching your wrist gently, they turned their head a little, and you searched again with a careful touch. There was nothing aside from the thread twisting in your gut. I can find it. Maybe you should go see. The words died in your throat when you felt their cheek drop into your palm. Their grip on your wrist had shifted to the back of your hand, softly holding you there so that they could nuzzle into your touch. You blinked rapidly in muted confusion, and they glanced at you from the corner of their eyes, their mouth lifting into a smirk you saw and felt against your skin.
Would you look at that? I'm feeling totally fine now.
He's such a smooth little shit for fucking nothing. He's such a smooth little shit, and for no good goddamn reason. Who gave you the right to be that smooth, sir? I want to know. Huh?
Do you happen to have a healing touch?
Yeah, that's exactly one of my powers, because this is fucking Tangled or some sort of Disney movie, of course. I see what you did there, very smooth. Yeah, but you know. For my personality, I think that's the one that I need to choose. I'm looking at the guide. Yes, I am playing with the guide. Okay, so yeah. You cracked a smile before twisting your hand and poking your knuckles lightly into their cheek. They chuckled, releasing you to tuck their hands into the pocket of their ripped jeans.
I felt the good vibes. Thanks for them, by the way.
I felt the good vibes. Thanks for them. Where's the log? Yeah, I didn't miss anything. Okay. I felt the good vibes. Thanks for them, by the way. No problem, but are you sure you're all good to go?
Yeah, why? See anything off?
Yeah, here and here and here too. You pointed to their right shoulder, to their left shoulder, and finally to their chest. When they glanced down, you flicked your finger up and twigged their nose. I love fall personality being a little gremlin. Now you're good, and we're even.
Touché.
As nasty of a fall as that had been, their laugh rolled like a tide in the late evening, washing away the sunny impressions of the whole accident. Their unshaking indifference was reassuring to see, but you couldn't help but ask one more time. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine, really. Healing touch, remember?
Sure thing. You know what? I imagine that when he got to the when he got to the house that night, they like Percy and Elio were like, "Oh my god, dude, what are those bruises? Where the fuck did you get them from?" And Percy was like, I just fell," or something like that. And they tapped their cheek, chuckling. If if they could keep joking like that, then there probably wasn't anything for you to be worried about. Hold, please. With their index finger raised, they turned to kick up the scooter next to them. After they scrutinized it for any dings and scratches, they hopped on for a more thorough checkup. They pushed off with their right foot, twisting the accelerator, and so it started up with a low weir, and set off into a series of slow, smooth laps with you in the center. Nice, still good. Someone's clearly not in a rush to leave yet. I'm actually running late for a meetup with some friends, but not so late since you have the time to joke around. You were genuinely concerned. I couldn't help myself. You didn't know if it was. You didn't know it was possible, but their smirk grew even wider. Well, grew wider, tinging a few shades more playful, as they admitted to teasing you. If you've got somewhere to be, why stick around? Are you kidding me? I can't just leave after running into you.
This is a scene straight out of a movie. One of us is supposed to fall head over heels for the other, you know.
Really now?
Yup. Movie law dictates it. I mean, 50,000 students on campus and you bumped into me? We can't ignore that.
We can't indeed. Tell you what, though. You can decide who falls for who. I'm a romantic, so you can play whichever part. Okay, so there's a few of the ones. There's a few that have, like, positive answers here. I need to choose. What am I gonna choose? What a riot. They really knew how to clap back every single time. You didn't doubt that they'd been super forward from the jump. They were being cute, cheesiness and all. Honestly, you weren't very sure how to respond. Let's go with Water Riot. I'm gonna save here. Just so I can backtrack. Because I wanna do like all the I wanna do all the characters. Like Jamie, Ellie, and Percy. And I wanna be able to come back here and choose the cute one, but for right now I'm gonna choose the Riot. The quips, the delivery, it was an art form they wielded with pinpoint accuracy. You pressed your fingers lightly over your mouth, but that only drew his attention to the smile hiding there. So there's a few that have positive answers here. There's how about this? What do you want me to play as instead? There's what if this is more of a soulmates chasing each other through multiple life things. And there is you mean you don't remember me? We've been together for ages. I think I'm gonna go with the you mean you don't remember me just because that's such a gremlin little answer that I love it. We have until your mother cut the brakes in my car, of course. Then I drove off a cliff in the rain, and the amnesia made me fall in love with your cousin instead. Ah, right, because my cousin and my mother were working together to rob us of your inheritance. But we'll have the last laugh, won't we? We will, once we cut their brakes in a twist of dramatic irony. I think that's just plain old revenge, but I love the enthusiasm. There was a breezy confidence in the way they answered you, and the easy lilt to their voice told you they were more than used to this kind of tomfoolery. It was tempting to stick around just to see what they'd come up with next. Unfortunately, I gotta go. Don't run into anyone else, okay? Am I allowed to take that as you wanting me for yourself? You didn't reply, but you didn't need to. The way your lips pressed together in an attempt to hide your amusement was telling enough. You knew they'd seen it, since their mouth was quirked into something between a smirk and a smile, into something that, for all their wit, was mellow and indulgent. I'll see you around. They lifted a hand, throwing you a two-fingered salute as you stepped past. You nodded back, waving a little before you picked up the pace. You'd lost valuable time. Okay, so I'm gonna save here because the next scene is RNG, and I want to. I love to get the. I love to get the one where with Cam, not the one with Deja. I love this. I love the music of this game. Seriously, I do. You lost valuable time, and so you dared to break into a jog as soon as you had as soon as you had a straight shot across the green. This time, thankfully, there were no collisions to be had. You slowed to a walk off the slight. You slowed to walk off the slight stitch in your chest, sleeping by a group of students going in the opposite direction. Man, whoever was that over there, they really are passionate about that song. Tell me about it. As you headed between the rows of parked cars, an electric beat filled the air. The source, a van with the front windows rolled down, as its occupants rocked out to a song from a decade ago. I know the song, but I keep losing the rhythm. Side to side. Side to side. Yeah, I know what song it is. But anyways, I keep listening the rhythm to it. It's the DJ's got us falling in love again, but I don't remember what is the rhythm to that little part. Every time I hear the damn song, I think of Cameron and I think of this game. And I've heard it like a few times since this game came out for completely unrelated reasons. And every time I keep forgetting the rhythm to that one bit of the song. Anyway, Cameron sat in the driver's seat, two-toned hair flaying wildly as they banged out a beat on the car door. They were one of your best friends, as well as a year above you in the same major. Major? I think it's major. More importantly, they were a self-professed champion of car karaoke. When it came to immersing oneself in song, passion was the name of the game, and for Cam, that meant there was no need to worry about hitting the right notes. 'Cause baby tonight... Hey! The speakers went abruptly quiet as they reached the high note. With a devastated gasp, Cam jerked around to face the passenger seat where your roommate pigeon laughed with a delicate glee. I would admit that the first time I heard that pigeon laugh thing, I was like, "What? Pigeon laugh?" And then I looked it up. And I was like, "Oh my god." It so fits Deja, honestly. Deja was the third member to your unforgettable trio. An incorrigible tease, always looking for an opportunity to poke fun. She'd obviously been waiting for the right moment to turn the volume down. Booyah, booyah. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Uh-huh. Okay. Hi, Cam. Hi, Dee. At least the lull in the music meant you didn't have to shout. As soon as you called over to them, they both leaned forward to wave. Hey, sleepyhead. We were just about to go looking for you. After a quick karaoke sesh, right? Well, it was either that or we'd have to burst into the apartment with a boombox. And I left my boombox at home. I think there was something about... Okay, but what if I wanted to do karaoke too? Ba-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-bum. Yeah, I think it's this one. Oh, okay. No, wait. Sorry. So, I misinterpreted the guide. Anyway, as for, like, which choices give me which, stats, I don't really care about the stats I get, whatever stats I get, and that's it. So I'm not really gonna pay much attention to that. But if I wanted to do karaoke too, I'm sorry I made you wait. You walked over quickly. Well, don't stop on my account. I liked what I was hearing. It's me. As my Lee Jolly commands, D, hit it. The music pumped back up pump back up a little in volume, and Cameron serenaded you with tearful abandon as you walked over. You made sure to clap real loud when they reached the end of the chorus. Anyway, get in already. Oh yeah. Only to find it locked. Okay, so we load this. We load this, and let's skip. Well, don't stop on my account. Aha, this one. So, this says, anyway, get in already. And Cam says, oh, Ollie, hold up. Back up a little. You stopped with a puzzled blink, then did as you were told. While you took a few steps backward, the side door to the car popped free and slid open. Alright, now dive in. Huh? Dive in. Come on, it'll be funny. Deja popped her head out from behind Cameron's. Their brazen suggestion... Brazen? I think it's brazen. Suggestion hadn't triggered any alarm, merely a listless smile coupled with a roll of her eyes. Don't listen to them, Ollie. Remember your middle school training. Peer pressure isn't cool. I'm not pressuring him. He can do whatever he wants. So Cameron said, but you didn't miss how their muted lilac eyes flicked to the side, clearly wanting you to indulge them. They were always a bit on the reckless side when it was just the three of you. If there was a chance to goof off, they'd take it. And if you weren't careful, you'd get swept along for the ride. So I love this option. This is why I wanted to do this again. In the name of not being influenced, and in the name of fun, you climbed through Cameron's windows instead. Love that option. It's so funny. You took your time walking up to the driver's door as you pulled together the nerve you needed. Hey, Cameron? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up? They softened their tone halfway through the question, leaning forward to look at you more earnestly through the open window. Is everything good? Yeah, I'm just coming through. What? Ah! Quickly, you wriggled through the window, kicking your feet as you tipped yourself over into Cameron's lap. Hello? Hi! Did it hurt when you fell from Haven? Oh my god. Deja laughed despite herself, and so did you. Before you could squish Cameron too badly, you crawled into the middle row of the seats. Into the middle of the wait. Into the middle row of seats. Okay, that's it. I had a moment of wait. Honestly, this kind of tomfoolery was pretty common when it was just the three of you. Subverting Cam's jokes to get an extra laugh out of them was practically a habit. Thanks to all the time you spent together now. Granted, this was the first time you'd they'd ask you to pull this particular stunt. From how they were stifling the occasional giggle into the back of one hand, you had the feeling they'd gotten all they'd ask for, and more. Camcorder to Ice Queen. I repeat, camcorder to Ice Queen. The package the package was received safely. Now, awaiting new orders. Over. Proceed as planned. Onwards to Reina. To Reina. You all clicked your seatbelts in, and Cameron shifted the car into reverse. Twisting in their seat, they gave a quick peppy salute before. Oh, whoops. Quick peppy salute before settling one hand on the back of Deja's headrest. They maneuvered out of their parking spot with a practiced turn of the wheel before. No, wait. Looking backward all the while, as inevitable. Sorry, I was moving in my seat. It was inevitable you'd make eye contact, and when you did, they winked. I know, I'm the coolest, aren't I? On most people, this kind of ego boosting question would come off as arrogant. On Cameron, it came off as an intentional joke, a way to keep the energy light. You and Deja had the rare privilege of seeing Cameron at their silliest. They made sure you knew it. And they made sure you knew it. I don't know why you keep doing that when you have a perfectly good backup camera. Cool? Nah. I think it's hot when you do that. Cam, if you have to ask, then you're not being cool. I love flirting with Cameron when the opportunity arises. So I'm gonna go with hot. Cameron slammed on the brakes and you jostled forward against your seatbelt with an oof. The sudden whiplash drew a disapproving glare from Deja. Get a grip, Cam! How can I? Ollie just called me hot! Should I not have said that? No, I mean, yes. I mean, Lord, I am not your strongest soldier. You're agnostic. Also, you're holding up the line. Ah, shit. They stuck an arm out the window to wave frantically before switching gears and turning the car out of the parking lot. It took until you were out on the main road for their grip on the steering wheel to relax. A cool breeze fluttered through the front windows, and campus buildings rolled by in silhouettes of glass, stone, and brick. Bryn Mawr was an easy first pick for many students. While not overly prestigious, it was a beautiful school set near a cozy town, couched in hazy blue mountains and forests in deep green. In forests of deep green, the academics were no joke either. It being competitive enough that you still felt more than lucky to be admitted into the pre-law track to boot. It was certainly the prettiest and coolest campus you've ever seen. Downtown Fairfield was what really sealed the deal. You'd mostly focus on your academics when choosing this place. I actually, back in the day when I was in college, I actually had the opportunity to go to either like a super prestigious school with like the best engineering, because I started in engineering and then I moved into humanities. I actually had the opportunity to go into like one of the best it's like universities with like one of the universities that had one of the best engineering faculties of the capital, but I ended up liking better the university that I got accepted into. Anyway, I didn't get accepted into the other university because, well, there was what's the word for that? There was fuckery afoot, and they gave my points to somebody else, and they like reduced mine. And yeah, it's a whole complicated story, but the gist of the thing is that they did me wrong and they accepted somebody into, like, they reduced my points to accept somebody that had paid their way in. But I didn't fight it because in any case I got accepted to the other university, which whose entrance test is even harder than the one that I supposedly did not pass, which leaves you thinking like, huh? But yeah, anyway. So I actually like the university that I actually got accepted into was one of the prettiest universities that I've ever seen. Because it has like the buildings mixed up with the gardens, and it's so beautiful because to get to every single to get anywhere in the university you have to cross a garden. And it's so nice, like like in the sense of, how do I say this? Having to cross gardens sort of relaxes you. It sort of reminds you that not everything is studying, not everything is like the faculties you're going into and you're going in and out of, etc., etc. So like having to see to well, maybe not touch the grass literally with your hand, but walk among grass at the very least like twice a day was super nice. Like coming in and coming out was super nice, and it always, I don't know, healed something in me. Anyway, so I got distracted, but I would certainly go with like the prettiest and coolest campus. I'm not quite like the academic kind of girl. The brochures had done the best to capture everything, but nothing had beaten experiencing it in person. Your first month here had been a giddy one, full of exploration and maybe a little frolicking. Campus was, to quote Deja when you met, picturesque as fuck. And to quote Cameron next, sick as fuck. Thanks to the mountains, there was an observatory on one side of the campus and a ski slope on the other. The locals enjoyed them just as much as the students did. Fairfield was a small place, but that didn't. Fairfield was a small place, but that didn't mean it was boring. Cameron slowed for a speed bump, and you heard the rustle of nylon bags in the trunk. How did shopping go? Deja tipped her head back for a laugh. More of a sharply exhale, really. It was easy to miss these mini laughs of hers if you didn't know what to listen for. Should I tell him or will you? Why? What did you do, Cam? What do you assume it's me who did something? Remember, in the court of law, everyone is presumed innocent before they are. You are not on trial. But if you were, we'd present to the court a picture of a certain pyramid of paper towels knocked all over the floor. We had a defective wheel, and the cart wouldn't steer right. So there's a particular answer that I always love picking for this one. I think it's either Cam remember we volunteer nothing, or sounds like a weak defense to me. One of those. Let's go with volunteer nothing. You are so right. They clamped their mouths shut, twisting an invisible key at the corner and tossing it away. Well, as an eyewitness to the crime, I've got plenty to say. She's bluffing. Stay strong. Honestly, it's not like anything actually broke. The employee said it was fine, but Cam's convinced that they can go back into Dickinson's again. Okay. So, this was not it. I think it's the weak defense. Let's see. Nuh-uh, it's Professor Arlo's 101. The company is liable for the damages due to their faulty property, not me. Damages? It was all paper towels, wasn't it? And maybe a sign or two. Honestly, it's not like anything actually broke. So that's not the choice then either. Where's the one where they go like kangaroo court? Do you see me driving it right now? I'm a model Do you see me driving right now? I'm a model operator of heavy machinery. So if that card wasn't working, that's not on me. Even if you were pushing it really, really fast. Until they check the security cameras, nobody has proof I did that. Okay, so the kangaroo court is not in this one then. Um... I think I'm gonna go with weak defense. Okay. But the macadamia nuts are Deja's favorite. Buck Up Camp is the closest store to campus. Who say Buck Up? Huh. Step 1, Dickens' son. Step 2, Buck Up. It's always in one ear and out the other for you. So I think the kangaroo court one is with when Reina finds them. Cameron snickered as they flicked the turn signal on. Deja tilted her head back to look at you. What's up? You met her eye with an automatic smile, watching as her expression softened. She took her time putting the words together as she usually did around you. Was your morning alright? Beyond the obvious, I mean. Well, naturally you hadn't been set up for success today. Your room had been a mess, you'd woken up late, you'd had to run across campus, and you'd gotten held up by that stranger. There was a lot to say about your morning from that alone, but did you want to tell your friends? I think... Let me see something. There's like a special... there's a special choice that I didn't know was a thing. Okay, so if I don't talk about him here, there later is a choice to do something cool. When you meet him in the barbecue. So I'm gonna choose not to tell them. And let's just save here because I want to come back to this. I never like lying. But we'll see. Didn't want to tell them. You'd almost been even later thanks to that encounter. There'd be no end to the ribbon if you told them. As smoothly as possible, you switched your attention back to answering Deja's questions instead. Oh, it was terrible. I'd say it went pretty well. Would have liked a couple more minutes in bed though. I'm still tired, but what can you do? Couple more minutes and we would have dragged you out of that building ourselves. So you didn't have to run all the way over. So I didn't have to run all the way over? Oh, no you don't. You put those puppy eyes back where you got him. Plus, I doubt it'd be comfortable getting carried across campus on camera's back. On my back? What are you, the chopped liver? I'm chopped liver with a manicure that I won't jeopardize even for our dear Ollie's sake. Deja fluttered her fingers for emphasis and Cameron gave a good-natured grumble while you tried not to laugh. In the intervening lull, you mulled over that stranger one last time. Honestly, it was a little weird, You usually told Deja and Cam everything right away. It was pretty normal not to talk about things like that. You tended to keep things to yourself. Maybe there'd be a time to talk about it later. First, you had a party to look forward to. Well, thanks for picking me up anyway. Of course, we can miss out today. It's so much free shit. Hey, don't forget, we've got work to do first. We will. If I have a lot of Tupperware in the back, that's a coincidence, I assure you. Some of that Tupperware is mine, right? Even if it's not, you can borrow whatever. You smiled, resolving to help Cameron pack away whatever leftovers they wanted first. The rest of the ride was a tangle of light-hearted conversations. Deja and Cam were common fixtures in your life, but you rarely ran out of things to talk about. It was never silent, at least. Deja had the AUX. So in my country, we just call it like the auxiliary cable. Like, that's it. That's it. We don't call it. I don't even know how to say that. Like we would just say like she had the AUX, like and spell out the whole thing, or how would you even say it? I've got no idea. And she put one of her playlists on as soon as you'd left campus. Gradually, the trees on either side of the road thinned, and the car entered a classy residential area with quaint homes separated by large lawns and extensive driveways. Is it this one? Yup, just pull in behind the car. Cameron pulled over, fitting the van into an empty spot. From the number of other vehicles already here, you were probably among the last of the helpers to arrive. Hopefully, Reina wouldn't mind. Peering out into the window again, you were struck by the suburban mood that blanketed the entire area. Man, who's getting housing out here? This is way fancier than what's on campus. Huh? Oh, nah, this isn't for students. But Reina lives here. She sure does. Deja flickered her wrist impassively, speaking with the bluntness of someone who'd seen this view too many times. It's a legend neighborhood. Some of our professors live here, the tenured ones. Cam, I'm pretty sure your first year seminar professor is her neighbor. No, Mrs. Gregory? Yep, apparently she swings by with muffins. Man, we didn't call her a G for nothing. A G. Oh, Grandma? I love you, Mrs. G. Cameron hollered after sticking their head through the window, fist pumping on their chest to express their admiration. Deja snorted. So close. It's the one on the other side. Well, whoever lives on this side, I also love them. Anyway, let's get going. Wait 1 second. The locks clicked shut, and the window on Deja's side weird as she rolled it back up. Should we be concerned? I'm already shitting bricks. Cameron, come on, this is important. I said this was a party that Reina was hosting, right? And I was co-hosting. Yup, I remember, since it was so weird hearing that. What? Weird how? You don't really do parties, Dee. Not unless it's our birthdays or something. And we're here early to help set up as well. To help set up. That means it's an SGB party. Case closed, Detective Campbell. Case closed indeed. Excellent work, Detective Molnaris. Deja pouted a little, and the two of you turned away to giggle. Your roommate was vice president of the Student Government Board, which organized events and initiatives all over the campus. It hadn't exactly been rocket science to guess the real nature of today's party. It was even easier when one considered that Reina was SGB president, though that did bring up one inconsistency. If it's SG business, why not put that in the name? Why is it just a barbecue today? Because it's a test run. We'd like to run this on a bigger scale next year, so we're running a smaller trial first. That's why it's at Reina's. That's why it's at Reina's place. The other SG people know, and now you do, but none of the other guests really do. Okay, is that it? Nope, there's something bigger. She held one hand out to each of you, palm up. You didn't like being touched by other people, even amongst friends. You didn't really like being touched by other people, but you made an exception for your close friends. You didn't mind physical touches at all. I don't really like being touched by other people, but I don't mind if it's like close friends. You stuck your hand in hers as requested, swinging your clasped palms with a little smile. Cameron was more enthusiastic, slapping their hand on theirs with a resounding smack. While you were at it, you and Cam linked your free hands as well, completing the triangle and leaning in to listen. There was a pause, as Deja's gaze glided from you to Cameron and back. The anticipation built as she gathered her words. The barbecue has a game at the end, a scavenger hunt. I am asking the both of you from the depths of my heart to take it seriously. It's that serious? Scavenger hunt? Deja, you know I treat those with extreme seriousness. From the very depths of your heart. Now I know you mean business. Ah, these heart, the Mariana's trench of organs. Deja's lips twitched, but she kept to a grim silence, even when you and Cameron traded snickers. The scavenger hunt, my friends, has a prize of $500. Suddenly, the car was deathly silent. Let me repeat that. $500 fucking dollars. Cameron's tongue darted out to wipe at their dry lips. Deja, if you're screwing with us, I am dead ass. This is real. We, along with the rest of the guests, are playing for keeps, and there is, I shit you not, a fat stack of cash waiting in Reina's room as we speak. If there is ever a moment to take in my words at face value, it is now, okay? I am not kidding. That cemented it for Cameron. Holy shit! The car rocked on its axles as they leaped on their seats, thumping hands wildly on the steering wheel as they screamed. Even Deja joined in the chaos, her heels driving into the carpet of Cameron's car in a series of gleeful thumps. The jewelry adorning her body jingled with the movement as she too began yelling. I would join into the celebration. You joined in the celebration. You bounced a few times in your seat, hands flying up in a poor attempt to hide the wide grin on your face. It wasn't often you whooped and hollered, but money was money, and there were $500 within reach. Okay, wait. Cameron came down from their initial shock to seize Deja by the forearms. Your roommate grabbed them back, the white of their manicured nails standing out against the gray of their hoodie. Game plan, what is it? You have to have one, right? Like, we're winning that thing, no question? Definitely. I already know everything. I already know where everything is. Otherwise, there's no point bringing this up. Wait, are we cheating? Deja grinned at you with no hesitation, mischief sparking to life in her eyes. Some people call it cheating. I call it a utilization of prior knowledge given my role as party coordinator. That's just a long-winded way of saying we're cheating. If Reina didn't want me to cheat, then she wouldn't have asked me to help hide the items. Besides, just because we would know where everything is doesn't guarantee we'll win. We still have to get to everything first if we're going to grab what we need. Nah, it still didn't feel right. When she put it that way, maybe you were fine with it? Or maybe not? Deja had a point. Nothing wrong with playing to your strengths. I am not one for cheating. I'm gonna be honest with everybody here. I am not one for cheating. I would be like, there was a moral conundrum at play here. To cheat or not to cheat. And the angel on your shoulder begged you to object. However, the little demon perched opposite whispered otherwise. Your inability to take a stance must have reflected on your face. The excitement on your friend's faces washed away, leaving behind a faint but genuine concern. Hey, you met her gaze, which was now soft and warm. We don't have to. It was just a thought. Yeah, it's not like we need to cheat to win. That cash is ours no matter what. I suppose as long as we're playing honestly, we should. There was a sudden tap on the window, and Cameron let out an ear-splitting scream. Deja screeched in turn, flinging herself backward against the locked floor. You touch her flailing arms as she tried to suck Cameron on the shoulder, ducking back into the middle of the road, in the middle row of seats. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I took a break to go get some water and do some other things. Okay, so you touched her flailing arms as she tried to suck Cameron in the shoulder, ducking back into the middle row of seats. Christ, Cameron! Ow, sorry.
You better not be doing what I think you're doing, Deja.
Damn it, Raina. I almost pissed my pants.
Raina peered through the passenger side window, her curled fingers shadowing her narrowed eyes. With her back to the glass, Deja looked sulkily to one side, stalling as long as she could before she had to make eye
Why
contact.
does she look so scary staring in like that?
Deja shook her head without answering as she swiveled back around in her seat. Rolling down the window, she fixed Raina with a flat stare.
Not that I'm admitting it, but we weren't doing anything.
Oh, but you were thinking of it.
Mm-hmm. Past tense.
A likely story.
Even if I tell the truth, she won't believe me.
I can't blame her. This is you we're talking about.
Like you weren't on board with the idea.
At the accusation, Cameron only looked away, whistling a random tune.
Whatever. If it helps Raina, my lovely roommate's got too good of a conscience to let us do anything.
Raina turned her scrutiny on you, and you smiled nervously. Haha, hey. You weren't sure if she didn't know you well enough to accuse you, or if she did know you enough to let you off the hook. Either way, she relented with a sigh, her shoulders slumping as she relaxed.
Fine, I believe you. Or I believe your roommate.
I'm hurt.
Raina scoffed before finally stepping away from the window.
Okay, come on out. You guys aren't just here to have fun after all.
Oh, so where was the kangaroo court one? There's a bit where Cameron goes like, "What is this? A kangaroo court?" Wait. Let's save this. I'm gonna go back. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I think it's this one, maybe? And you're sure? Well, it was like, and you're sure it's the cart's fault? Do you see me driving it right now? No, yeah, so this was not it. It's always in one ear. No, so that's not it either. Where's the kangaroo court one? Did I miss it somehow? Where's load? Aside from my dignity, but what's new? I don't. Where is the kangaroo court quote? Well, it'll pop out. It'll pop up at some point in time, eventually. Okay, doors opened and shut, and you lined up next to each other by the van. Raina paced slowly back and forth, her fingers tented in front of her as she eyed you up and down. So, where do you need us?
For starters, we've been waiting for the stuff you're buying, so hopefully you've got everything on the list.
At a heavy price, yes.
Cameron lowered their heads solemnly, pressing one hand to their collar as they sighed. You smiled, knowing they were thinking about all those fallen paper towels at the store.
Unless you guys bought something extra, we shouldn't be over budget. But anyway, if you can get everything to the backyard, we can finish setting up the tables.
We're on it.
Actually, Deja, I need you to help oversee the other members first.
No, what? They're going to ask me what to do.
That is part of our job, you know. We're their elected leadership.
That doesn't mean they can't fend for themselves.
I know, but I have to go move all the scavenger hunt items. Just in case. Then I'll come to relieve you, I promise.
Fine.
I guess I'll handle the groceries then?
Yes, please. Deja can point you to where everything needs to go.
Can do.
Cameron jabbed the button on their key, and they headed to the SUV's rear with Deja. You were about to follow, but Reina put a hand to stop you.
I've got a different kind of task for you. You're gonna help a friend of mine finish making these damn cupcakes.
Sure thing, boss. Ah, so obedient. I love it. So, here's the deal. These cupcakes were supposed to be finished an hour ago. The guy you're helping knows what he's doing. You might know him from it, actually. You might know him for it, actually, unless you live under a rock. It's fine if you don't. It's not important. What matters is he's the only one person, and I may have hit him with a really tall order. So just... She made a grand but uncertain gesture, waving one arm vaguely toward the house. Help where you can, alright? And I mean wherever you can. The clock's ticking. Is there something I should be watching out for specifically? Yeah, I heard it the first time. Relax, Reina. Relax, Reina. I got this. It's just cupcakes. Well, that's not foreboding at all. Well, is there something I need to be looking at specifically? Trouble, in any and all shapes. Alrighty, I'll do my best. Reina sighed, her head tipping to one side as she folded her arms. Sorry, it's just that my friend's sort of finicky. I do believe you'll be alright, but just in case, I've got a couple of notes. 1. He's going to insist he can take care of the cupcakes himself. Don't listen to him. We need to expedite the process. 2. He's a little on the skittish side, like a bunny. So don't do anything to spook him if you can. Sure, no problem. Okay, then. With a jingle, she pulled a spare house key from her pocket, handing it over with a peppy nod. I leave him in your capable hands. Once you're done, come and find me in the backyard. I'll be around somewhere. Thanks a bunch, Ollie. And like the spring breeze, Reina left in a flurry of pink. You step through the front door, half expecting to find yourself in a life-size version of a pink plastic dollhouse. Surprisingly, the living room was just that, an average living room, found in any house in the Northeast. Bummer. Maybe you shouldn't have expected much, considering the exterior wasn't doused in baby pink. Back to the job. A sweet, warm aroma led you across the living room and through an archway. Archway? I think it's archway. And through an archway. On the other side into the kitchen. There was someone stooped behind the kitchen island with blonde hair and a green sweater. They bent even farther, leaning down to swap trays of batter in and out of the open oven. That had to be Reina's friend. You spoke up as soon as you entered, trying not to startle them. Heyo! The door to the oven snapped shut, and with a fresh batch of cupcakes held in one mitted hand, he turned to you, lips parted in slight surprise. There was a moment of hesitation visible on his face before it thawed into a genial smile.
Can I help you?
I love him. Genial smile. It was only a couple of words, but you noticed the lilt in his voice. The vowels softly rose and fell, lending him a melody that threaded even the simplest of sentences. A foreign exchange student, maybe? There were plenty of those over in Mayer. Hi, that's what I'm supposed to ask you, actually.
Pardon?
Reina sent me over. She said I'm supposed to help you with whatever you need. He nodded once before placing the tray on the oven top and shaking off the oven mitt.
I see. I've got it covered, but thank you.
She said you'd say that. I'm supposed to insist on helping you. So this is me, insisting. What can I do? I didn't even read those options out loud. It's just because again, I've played this 1,000 trillion times. I just love that option, like, so this is me, insisting. Hi, hello. I'm the insister, it's me. He raised a brow as he thought, but after a moment he nodded a second time.
Well, I put the last batch in already, so all that's left is decorating.
Okay. There was barely any space on the counter when you joined him, thanks to the wire racks crowded with rows and rows of cupcakes. And a number of them were already frosted, but there were plenty that hadn't been decorated. I'm starting to see why Reina told me to come help.
Waiting for the cupcakes to cool was the most time-consuming part. We'll be done in time.
He gestured to a row of piping bags filled with a rainbow of different colored frostings.
Do you know how to use these?
Okay, so I'm gonna save because there's like two different things that I love to do in this in this scene. One is pretending to know that I know how to do these things and end up making a mess. And the other one is knowing how to use the pipe bags and like telling him like, hey, prepare to be impressed or something. You didn't, but you pretended otherwise. What if he said he didn't want to help you after all? What would you tell Reina then? Who doesn't?
You maybe? That's why I'm asking.
Don't worry, I got this. You grabbed the piping bag, sneaking a look at some of the finished cupcakes. The closest platter looked like a bouquet, with flowers of all colors and complexities piped expertly on top. That was a little intimidating, but you could try copying one of the simpler designs. The bag squished in your grip, and you turned the cupcakes slowly squiggling out a few petals. It wasn't as easy as you thought it'd be. A little too much pressure here, some hesitation there, and you had a clump of frosting piled unevenly on the cupcake, drooping sadly. Drooping sadly in on itself. His smile was still there, but his eyes were on you, waiting for you to say something. That cupcake had an attitude, is what I love saying. But let's save.
Maybe it was a bad batch.
Together you looked at the wire rack your cupcake had come from. They're a picky bunch.
What about?
With a hand cup next to your mouth, you leaned a little closer. I think they only want certain colors of frosting. They're very particular.
I see. Then, by all means, don't leave them waiting.
As you waited expectantly, you picked up another blank cupcake. You readjusted your hold on the piping bag, more determined than ever to get it right. Slowly, you pulled a few petals. You pulled a few petal shapes out from the center until you had a complete ring finished. The result was still lopsided. Still lopsided, but at least it resembled a flower this time. Reina's friend hummed quietly, and you set your things down to wipe a bead of sweat from your temple.
Not bad.
Thanks.
Still, there's room for improvement. Would you be interested in a few pointers?
Yes, please. if you don't mind. He picked up a bag of yellow buttercream, and this time it was your turn to hand him a blank cupcake.
Follow after me. This creates a simple rosette.
Picking up a cupcake, he placed the nozzle at the center. You copied him, waiting for the next step.
Apply a little pressure, slowly, at first, until you get a feel for it. Keep the bag at the same angle, and spiral outward until you reach the edge.
He did just that, and you watched as a yellow rose formed on top of the cupcake.
The nozzle does most of the work. You just have to keep a steady pressure and speed.
Uh-huh. So, you followed his directions to the best of your ability. Maybe the first swirl was a little wonky, but he was right. The star-shaped nozzle shaped the frosting for you. And in the end, you still had a pretty periwinkle rosette to call your own.
Good job.
Good job. I love him. Thanks, Teach.
You're welcome. And for this style...
He nodded at one of the finished cupcakes with a flower that was made of layered petals instead of a continuous swirl.
You need one of the flat-tipped bags. For these, you pull each petal individually from the center. The petals can be wide or narrow. When you've gone around the outer edge, you offset the next layer, and then you simply repeat the steps.
His hands moved fluidly as he spoke, and within seconds he had 3 layers of blush orange petals piped onto a cupcake.
Then color the center with whatever you think pairs best, and that's it.
He nodded for you to try, and you picked up a cupcake with and the bag of pink frosting. The first petal came out much too fast, smooshing unevenly and almost dribbling off to the side. Ah, not again. He chuckled not unkindly as you reached for a bead of paper towel. Once you wiped the mistake away, you try it again with a lighter touch. The shape came out closer to what you had in mind this time, and you dared to continue. Just by looking at it, your lack of confidence was clear, but the layers were there, and you even managed some small dots of yellow in the center. Hey, I did it!
Congratulations. Now, do that all over again, about a few dozen more times. You can carry on then. I'll deal with the finishing touches.
Returning to a rack of half-decorated cupcakes, he picked up a piping bag and settled in. Wherever his attention turned, leaves and petals unfurled in flicks of effortless color. Bit by bit, he cultivated a garden out of frosting. Vanilla and sugar wafted through the air, making the scene even more convincing. You're really good at this. Okay, so I'm gonna save here. And then we're gonna load back, because the other one that I like to do is the other option is that one was a warm-up. Leaning against the counter, he gestured toward the remaining cupcakes.
Please, don't let me stand in the way of a patisserie genius.
Genius is a little too flattering, I think. He only raised one eyebrow, pushing another blank cupcake closer with the back of his finger. You readjusted your hold on the piping bag, more determined than ever to get it right.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Still, there's room for improvement.
I love the way he entertains this. I love the way he's like, oh wait, no, that's not the one that I want to load. I want to load. Hold. Wait, it's this one. I want to load this scene.
Do you know how to use these?
Because I want to do. Luckily, you did know. No worries, I know what to do.
Then, please, be my guest.
Prepare to be impressed.
If I'm not?
Not possible. You will be.
I'm definitely looking forward to this then.
You glanced at the cupcakes that were already finished. Some of the designs were singular flowers made of layered petals. Others were entire bouquets of tiny cluster blooms, piped with a confident flair that made for a spectacular show of craftsmanship. Since flowers seemed to be the theme, you quickly pulled aside 3 colors of frosting, and with practiced movements, you started piping. Along the way, you switched from white to cream, then to a peachy blush. With a flourish, you lifted the nozzle one last time, revealing a rose that faded from one color to the next.
You weren't kidding.
Nope, I take it you're impressed?
Yes, yes. You did an excellent job. Congratulations. You can carry on then. I'll deal with the finishing touches.
I actually like to pretend that I don't know. Because when you don't know, he says that he'll teach you how to do it.
Do you know how to use
And I
these?
really like that scene. Let's go with
Ben-
let's go one last with this. Okay, but don't laugh if it's up to snuff. If it's not up to snuff.
Well, if you talk such a big game, I must admit I have my expectations.
Maybe lower them for my sake. He brushed the back of his curled fingers over his mouth, doing little to hide the chuckle that escaped him. What did I say about laughing?
Apologies. I didn't know you meant starting now.
Bum bum. Bum 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 bum.
I don't know why you were concerned. You did an excellent job.
Love it. I love this one because he praises you. And it's like more what's the word that I'm looking for? Like it's like it comes from the heart. The last one he was like, yeah, you're doing good, and you know you're doing good. Bye.
You can carry on then. I'll deal with the finishing touches.
So I'm gonna keep the pretending that I didn't know one because I like that one better. I love saying that the cupcakes had attitudes. The cupcakes decided to be mean to me. Please defend me. You handed over a cupcake with a rosette on it, and he tended to it quickly, at creating a cluster of wavy-edged leaves. I'd hope so. I've been doing this for a long time. How long are we talking? 10 years? Maybe 11? I hope you're getting paid for this, at least. Are you? No, but I'm just a volunteer today. Reina knows I try to help out where I can. I see. Well, today I'm simply honoring a favor. That's a very big favor to call in. He cracked a wry smile and grinned right back before realizing that you skipped a crucial step. Oh, I forgot. I'm Ollie. He, them pronouns.
You can call me Jamie. He, him.
Something tickled in the back of your mind when you heard that. Jamie. Yes? No, it's just... I can't quite put my finger on it, but your name reminded me of something. It's an average name. No, there's something like... Then your stomach decided to rumble, and your train of thought screeched to a halt. There was no way Jamie hadn't heard it, but he kept piping with his eyes demurely lowered and his mouth shut. Sorry about that. I haven't eaten yet. You haven't? There hasn't been a good opportunity to. Best to remedy that then. He reached over and handed you a yet unfrosted cupcake. Have one. So, for that one, I need to go. You made sure to thank him first. Well, thank you. You're welcome. After that, all you had to do was peel the wrapper away and take a bite. The cupcake was light but decadent. Decadent? How do you say that word? We're going to do another Palace goes down some rabbit hole to see. Where is that? What the actual fuck? Okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. How do you say? I think it's decadent. That's where I think is the emphasize.
Decadent.
Yeah, it is. I was saying it right. Okay. The cupcake was light but decadent, sitting on your tongue with a distinctly floral flavor. It was sweet, of course, but not cloying, something that Jamie seemed to already know as he blinked expectantly at you. It tastes like a flower. That was the plan, yes. Any other notes? No, it's really good. Then please do eat the rest of it. Suddenly, there was a rattling sound, and you leaned to look through the archway into the dining area. Two silhouettes stood at the back door, rattling the handle to no avail. Damn it, it's locked. I told you, Reina said no one's allowed in until the party starts. Dude, I have to piss so bad. You don't have a spare key? No. But if we go and find her now, she might walk you in. Ugh. Automatically, you took a step over, but before you actually got anywhere, Jamie spoke up. Don't do that, please. There wasn't any shred of hesitation in Jamie's voice. While you looked between him and the door, the silhouettes shrank away from the curtain as the unfortunate volunteers gave up and left. Why not? I don't want people in here. Reina's words from earlier resurfaced, skittish, like a bunny. He didn't strike you as a timid type after talking, but now you were starting to wonder if there was something else going on. Still, there were a few things that felt as bad as being unable to find a bathroom on time. What would that volunteer do? Beg Reina to let them in? Drive all the way back to campus? I am very on the side of not letting these people in, especially because I know what happens afterwards. And also Jamie requested you not to do that. If he requested you not to do that, that means that those people have other ways to pee or whatever. Jamie would never just send some poor unfortunate schmuck looking to see where they might find a bathroom. Or maybe he would, what do I know? But yeah, anyway. But I'm partial to thinking, hey, there's another way of doing this. It's my train of thought. There had to be a reason Reina kept the house off limits. You'd keep the door locked. Well, I feel bad for them, but Reina did lock the door, so... With a final glance at the door, you moved to pick up another cupcake. Jamie did the same, though he was finished piping an entire flower by the time you got one layer of petals down. He was moving at a clipped pace, his eyes fixed on his work as he let the silence between you stretch on. It felt like he was waiting for you to do something. Judge him, maybe, for refusing to help others or ask him to explain himself in more detail. There was a slantwise way to do that without sounding like you were accusing him. So, I think almost all the other volunteers here are student government. I'm guessing you're not, since you only said you were doing Reina a favor? That's correct. I'm not either. Deja, the vice president, I'm her roommate, so we came together, us and... There was that rattling again, from the front door this time, and it was followed by the familiar scrape and then clunk of the lock turning. The party's not starting, is it? Wiping your hands, you walked briskly into the living room, intent on investigating, only to hop aside as the door swung open much faster than expected. Excuse me! Without further ado, a student dashed right past you, disappearing down the hall. A second student leaned through the door to shout after them, still holding a spare keyring. Reina says we get 5 minutes, so hurry. Whoa. They flinched, realizing they were standing next to you, and you put your hands up in an automatically placating gesture. Hi. Hi? Wait, how'd you get in here? Raina asked me to help out. You answered automatically, and the student gave you a second nod, more discerning look. Uh-huh. Well, as long as I'm waiting for my friend, I'm gonna sit. The front door clicked shut behind them, and while you were quietly reached out to relock it, they moved across the living room only to glance into the kitchen and paused, perking up with evident glee. Yo, cupcakes, did you do all this? No, I just started helping with the decorations. Yeah? Who made them then? You didn't mention Jamie. I hate these people. I'm gonna be honest with everybody here. I hate these people. If they hadn't spotted Jamie yet, it meant he'd left the counter where the cupcakes were. You couched your answer in a little lie of omission, walking closer. Someone who owed Reina a favor. Haha, that's why we're all here, am I right? They chuckled conspiratorially, and before you could get around them, they stepped into the kitchen. How long have you... Whoa, wait, Jamie? There was a half-decorated cupcake left on the kitchen island, as well as a piping bag. Jamie was standing in the dining area, far enough away that it was clear he'd tried to stay out of sight. Hello. I didn't know you were here. Oh, but this makes sense. Jeez, this is a ton of cupcakes. Mm-hmm. And why are you here? Oh, we had to use the restroom. Not we, my friend. Right on cue, footsteps came back from elsewhere in the house. Jamie stepped back toward the counter. His shoulders sloped downward, and the volunteer next to you raised their voice. Hey, in here. You're not gonna believe this. What? Where? Oh, hi, Jamie. Well, I think that was like, hi, Jamie. But yeah, whatever. The first student peeked into the kitchen, then scampered in with a wide smile. With their eyes were instantly glued to Jamie, to the point that they almost pushed by you on their way in. If these two had their way, they'd be behind the kitchen island in a second, cooing at the finished cupcakes. But 2 steps in, Jamie put a hand up, his expression polite but distant. Please stay on that side of the kitchen. I'm still working on these. You've been in here making cupcakes this whole time? Man, if we told people it was Jamie in the kitchen, our guest list would have exploded. As they spoke, the second student reached out, and Jamie smoothly plucked the half-decorated cupcake off the island counter before they could touch it. He picked up the piping bag with his other hand, finished the rosette on top instead of replying. It didn't help much. If anything, it gave the volunteers something else to talk about. I swear, these things look almost too good to eat. Almost. But really, you could have asked Reina for help. This is so much to handle all by yourself. It wasn't difficult, a little time-consuming. Jamie's sentences were oddly short and quiet, but the low volume of his words seemed to encourage the two to crowd a little closer. Come on, you make it look easy, that's all. I know I couldn't do this much detail. Last time I had to decorate cupcakes, I just spread the frosting with a knife. Ha! Their giggle twirled, and pitched into a higher octave. Just as the oven timer went off, Jamie reached to turn it off, picking up an oven mitt and opening the door. Are you sure you're not in the food sciences program? I mean, I know if there was a pastry degree or something, you'd be in it. More like teaching it. Jamie Porter on the faculty? The school would be swimming with tuition fees. And they laughed, bumping each other's shoulders with easy, raucous humor. You shuffled to one side to keep from getting jostled, when what they said replayed on your mind. Jamie Porter. What was it Reina had said? You'd know him unless you lived under a rock. You knew what the campus rumors said, of course. Somehow, you'd gone almost 2 years without seeing the man yourself. But you'd heard things here and there about a certain transfer student whose smile charmed anyone anyone in a single glance. His good looks, effortless grace, and princely manners made him a shoo-in for the position of campus boyfriend. People loved to talk about him, no matter what program or year they were in. And you'd been decorating cupcakes with him, completely unaware until the final clue fell into place. But seriously, what do I have to do to get a cupcake early? Jamie shook his head, placing the last freshly baked cupcake onto an empty rack. Automatically, he picked up a cool one, piping half a roast as he spoke. They're not finished. Well, not all of them, but what about that one? They leaned forward, lifting a hand to either point at the cupcake in Jamie's hand or reach out for it outright. Jamie stepped back and they pulled their hand away, sucking in a breath that turned into a slight chuckle. Yo, just kidding. I see how hard you're working on that one, huh? Got any rejects lying around? I'd be pretty surprised if there were. Yeah, good point. Like Jamie Porter ever messes anything up. I hate them. Okay, I want to take a small pause in here to say, I hate them. The atmosphere in the kitchen had chilled since the volunteers had come in, but neither of them seemed to notice. Glancing at Jamie, you noticed he was studiously avoiding eye contact with everyone in the room, you included. Okay, tutorial, your stats. Your choices in Keyframe impact your main stats, which are divided into 4 categories. Here are some examples of how they manifest. Confidence, guts, impulse, bravery. Charisma, wit, charm, creativity. Compassion, patience, consideration. Composure, poise, restraint, and balance. You can always check your current stats by clicking on the information button located in the quick menu. Stat checks. Some interactions may involve hidden stat checks, and success or failure will impact the story you're playing through. Example, passing a charm check could let you pull off a flirty joke, but failing could cause a fumble instead. But don't worry, Keyframes isn't a pure stat racing game, and our checks are mostly for flavor. Try not to stress. Okay, so in case nobody knew, the correct answer for fall personality is there was a tactful way to address this. Maybe they were overwhelmed by the jobs they were given. But I don't think I've got. Yeah, my compassion is not high. My other stats are not high enough because I haven't finished this this event yet. Video. Cameron was here. Stop doodling over all these notes. Relax. This bitch is blank anyway. Deja, best roommate ever. So here, this one. Man, I'd love to stay indoors until the party started. The weather's not bad, but, you know... They shrugged, casting a conspiratorial glance at you and the other volunteer. Can beat air conditioning and a whole bunch of cupcakes, huh? Is there a lot left to do in the yard? You moseyed back into the conversation with a smile, your eyebrows lifting slightly as the volunteers turned to look at you. They seemed to finally realize you weren't a familiar student, and after a pause, one of them answered. Kinda? Are you in the student government? No, I'm Deja's roommate. They gave you a more sympathetic look than you thought was required, but you let it slide. Oh, so you definitely got conscripted. It's not too bad, but is there anything I can help you with? What, like outside? Reina told me I should help out wherever I can. If you're still working outside, do you want some water before you go back? Or I can come with if you need a hand? You hadn't gotten a good look at the yard on your way into the house. Maybe everything was still in progress back there. Jamie was literally still piping away, so if there were more hands on deck needed outside... oh, it's okay. I think we'll do fine now that I'm not, distracted. Yeah, it's not too much left outside. You sure? Very, but thank you for offering. Guess we should get back to it, huh? With that said, they excuse themselves at least. Hurrying, should it be at last? Shouldn't that be at last? I'm gonna take a picture. Ah, fuck. What? Huh? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna take a picture of these. I'm gonna ask later on. With that said, they excuse themselves at last, maybe, hurrying out the back door with renewed energy. In the wake of their departure, Jamie let out a slow, calm breath. I suppose that was inevitable. Sorry. You joined him back at the counter, sending him an apologetic sideways glance while you picked up a piping bag. I didn't mean I'd just leave you hanging. If they really did want help, Reina did tell me to do as much as I could, but I should have said I was busy. Silently, he slid a fresh rack of undecorated cupcakes between you, before he turned to wipe some stray drips of buttercream off his hand. I get the impression you're a very considerate person in most circumstances. I'm gonna be honest. I would have loved to be able to, get the stats in real time, because I do not want to help those bitches at all. Not at all whatsoever. I tried to be, but again, I didn't. That's fine. It could have been worse. In any case, I do appreciate you trying to help. You're welcome. He reached over, dotting 3 simple leaves into the edge of your cupcake in a second gesture of thanks. Jamie stepped away for a moment, checking whether the final batch of cupcakes was still warm. You stayed to the side, finding a steady rhythm on piping some flowers in quick, careful succession. You glanced at him once or twice as you worked, noting the way he angled his face away from you. Now that he knew you knew who he was, there was a wariness in his posture that hadn't been there before. He was Jamie Porter after all, and you'd gone to some lengths to clear the other volunteers out of the house. If there was a time for you to go all starry-eyed on him, it'd be now. He didn't want others finding him in the house for that very simple reason. And thinking back, Reina's hesitation when she'd sent you here made complete sense. How many are left on your side? He asked you a throwaway question, and you glanced away to count the cupcakes within reach. Even if you were trying to keep your cool, the musical lilt of his voice was hard to ignore. Fewer than 10 left. Not too bad. It goes surprisingly quickly once you get some practice in. When he looked at you, he had a small smile on, the same polite peach crescent that he greeted you with when you first met him. It didn't look like there were any hard feelings about everything that had happened, at least on the surface. Maybe he did wait for you to finish more cupcakes on your side before he reached over to start adding any details, but he did add them. For all intents and purposes, you had your workflow back. The number of undecorated cupcakes dwindled steadily, and you even tried your hand at a few leaves and vines once you felt up to it. Eventually, Jamie tapped his finger on the counter, breaking your focus. Okay, the last batch needs another 10 to 15 minutes to cool, so you can finish up and then go back to Reina. You sure I can stick around? It's fine. You can tell Reina I'll be finished in time. You couldn't really hold it against him if he wanted some time to himself. It was as good a time as any to get back to the others. Then I'll go let her know. Thanks for helping me help you. Of course. You left through the back door, making sure to lock it behind you. Immediately, you were hit by a wave of sound, chatter and clatter in equal measure, as students hustled back and forth across the lawn. Geez, you knew Reina went hard one wow. Geez, you knew Reina went hard on the school sanctioned events, but you didn't think she'd go this far for a trial run. Speaking of, skirting around groups of other students, you looked high and low, circling around the most crowded parts of the yard. Toward the back, the property transitioned into the riverbank, and it was there that you spotted Reina, standing under a grand willow tree with her hand under her chin. There she was, time to check in. Oh, this was prime time for a little prank. I think I'm gonna choose prime time for a little prank just because I love spooking Reina. You tiptoed over, watching for twigs and stones in the grass as you went. Reina was staring contemplatively over the water, and as you got just close enough, let's say I want to play each of these. Back. I think if I shriek, she shrieks too. And I think if both of these get me like, oh my god, blah 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 blah. If you're gonna do this, at least invite me a coffee or something like that. Your voice cracked across the riverside like a whip, and Reina leaped a foot into the air with a scream of her own. She landed like a cat, poised and furious, and she spun at once, her hand flying up as if to punch you. I don't know how to read tag along. Whatever. I'm not sure how to say that, but sure thing. Thankfully, she didn't actually beat the stuffing out of you, instead cursing you out in Tagalog at the speed of light. She even threw in a stump. Nice to see you too. Oh, you are so lucky I'm nice. I know I am. Okay, so how did everything go? I love her. I love her cursing you in Tagalog. Reina rolled on you in a second, her hand ready to chop. With a giggle, you ducked aside, and her hand whiffed through the space where you had just been. What? Ollie? Oh my god, you should have seen your face. Slowly, she relaxed, squinting at you suspiciously as she rubbed the goosebumps out of her arms. I hope you had your fun. I did, thank you. I'm gonna shriek. I don't like the other one because it's like flirting with Reina. Not that I don't like flirting with Reina. Like I'm 100% on that, but I don't like flirting with Reina when I know I'm gonna be romancing someone else. Like Cameron is something else because they're my best friend and it's like a different dynamic, but Reina I don't know that well, if that makes any sense. Okay, fuck. Okay, so how did everything go? Reina regarded you with a concerned tilt of her head, her smile cooling a little. I heard there was an interruption, maybe? Yeah, but it was pretty quick. I get why you were worried, though. Uh-huh. Anyway, your friend said he'd definitely be done on time, and that's why I'm back. You were careful not to state said friend's name out loud. Reina arched? Arched? I think it's arched. Arched an eyebrow, and a knowing glint entered her eye. Arched? Well, anyway, as she held her hand out for you to return her spur key. Mm-hmm. And how did you get along with that friend of mine? I always love answering like rumors were right. That man was unfairly hot. And you were thankful for it. Mm. Hmm. Okay, here. It'd been easy to see why Jamie was the object of so many people's affections. A pretty face, and the big inkling of him being somebody that you couldn't have. The effect was altogether alluring as well as maddeningly effortless. I could get along better with him, if you know what I mean. Huh? I'm just saying, I get it. He's got everyone on campus making goo-goo eyes for a reason. Well, you were gone a while, so I'll trust you're the reason. He'll do just fine. Thanks. Reina clapped her hands softly together, bobbing on her feet as she slipped back into administration mode. There's one more thing. Cam's getting the food started, so you can join them and help man the grills for a while. The grills? Suddenly, Reina's smile looked a lot more nefarious. Oh, do you know about... I do. I'm of the opinion that they deserve as many chances to improve as it takes. The... Reina. And besides, I'm sending you to look after them, aren't I? You're an enabler. Always. Now go, before they burn something. You were off like a shot, sleeping between tables and students while trying to keep a calm face. Cameron wasn't a bad cook at all. The problem was they'd be working near an open flame. You wouldn't go as far as to say they were a pyromaniac, but well, they tended to call fires pretty, and they had a fondness for staring right into them. You could smell coals catching. Oh no. Skidding into scene, you whipped an accusatory finger up to a point at a certain ill-assigned grill master. Down, Cam! Down! Cameron yelped, spinning around with their hands and a pair of tongues held towards the sky. Ollie, I was just... Shush! I've caught you gasoline-handed. My hands are clean! It was a figure of speech. Also, you know you can't be 5 feet near an open flame. The magma carta binds us all. You don't have to invoke that, do you? The grill covers the fire, so... They deflated with a dramatic sigh, picking at you with furtive hope. You, Deja, and Cam had a number of binding agreements between you. Thanks to various incidents over the past 2 years, the Magma Carta was one of the more serious ones. That didn't mean there wasn't room for leniency, of course. You just had to be sure it was safe leniency. Well, the good news is, Reina sent me to help you. Just promise to take this seriously. Cam's eyes sparkled, and they pressed a curled fist to their chest, nodded, and turned to find you an apron. You were officially on the line, with trusty Cameron as your head chef. The curled fist to the chest made me think of Attack on Titan. It made me go like Sasageo. Like the first word, after I read that, the first word that passed in my mind was Sasageo. And we're off. Fire at will. Just kidding. Kebabs and burger patties hit the grates with a chorus of happy hisses, and Cameron clicked their tongues gleefully. The air quickly filled with the smell of cooking meat, and volunteers all over the yard started to perk up. started to perk up. Food heat in the grill, of course, meant that prep time was winding down, and the party would be starting soon. The end was within sight, or within scent. Now we're at a barbecue. Ollie, grab that tray. You got it. With your own pair of tongs, you piled skewers and patties in rows. Skewers and patties in rows, swapping out trays as you needed. Cameron flipped a fresh batch on right afterward, and working together, you had the first of several buffet tables stocked in no time. Then came the vegetarian options with mixed skewers, the hot dogs, the buns, tray by tray, stack by stack. You work in tandem, trading easy jokes and laughs under the cheerful spring sun. Ahem. It's time, people. We're gonna have guests arriving soon. The squeak of a megaphone drew your eye to where Raina stood, waving one hand overhead as she waited for everyone to turn her way. She wore a wide, brave smile, and the crowd naturally hushed as the student government waited for its president to speak. No time for pep talks. I appreciate you all for being here, and I have no doubt this is gonna be a great event. Let's keep our heads in the game, but let's also have fun, okay? Now, on three, we all scream, "Let's go, chickadees!" 1, 2, let's go, chickadees! And the party was on. And I'm gonna actually call it a day here. I think this has run longer than my usual videos run, just because I love keyframes so much. I also want to take a pause, like drink water, get off my chest, get off my chair, and all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna cut this here, and we'll do the second part of the barbecue event plus the text in the next video, and that'll hopefully be like enough content for us to cover like the amount of time that we should. Anyway, if you can tell, I super love keyframes. I'm having a lot of fun. Now that I'm in this, I'm thinking like maybe this was what the ADHD goblin had been wanting this whole time. What do I know? Either way, again, thank you so much for being here and joining in to watch. I hope you had lots of fun, as much fun as I've been having, and I'll see you in the next part of this video. Thank you all so much.